guys, today's video is going to be the lessons I've learned in my early adulthood years. I hope you guys find this content useful. So let's get right on into it. So, number one, the very first lesson I learned not very long ago is that you will have to save yourself. Nobody is going to save you. So what do I mean by this? I simply mean that when we become adults or when we grow, we are a little accustomed to the old ways. You know, constantly having people to assist us, having family members, having our parents there to help us. But then when you become an adult, you realize you have to do it all by yourself. And even in instances where you expect others to help you, they can only do so much. Why? Because you are now your core responsibility. You're the person who has the sole ability to take care of yourself. Nobody is responsible for you anymore. Nobody needs to do anything for you anymore. So nobody's gonna be out here to save you. You are the only one out here to save you. So the earlier you learn this, or the sooner you learn this in your life, the better it is for you. You save yourself a whole lot of heartache. You save yourself a lot of stress. And you're literally in that mindset where you're like, go, 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 go. I've got to push. I've got to get this done. I've got to ensure that I am good. Because once you begin to walk in that space where you realize that nobody owes you anything except you, then you will be in this mindset where you are trying to do for yourself. You're in a doer's mindset. And I've noticed a lot of young people, my age or younger than I, are not yet in that space where they feel responsible enough for their lives because they're still holding on to the early childhood years. They're still holding on to the savior mentality where your parents are going to save you, your aunt, your uncle, family member, and whatnot. But once you become an adulthood, darling, I'm sorry to bust your bubble, but nobody's going to be saving you. Point number 2 is never dim your light for anybody. Never make yourself small to accommodate anybody. Now, what do I mean by this? Many other times in adulthood that you will realize, even when we're growing really, we try to be more accommodating towards people, especially if you're African. You realize that sometimes you dimmed your light or made yourself smaller, all in the name of being humble, when in reality, that was not helping you, that was not saving you. It's not exactly you being humble, it's just you trying to create a space where you have other people feel too comfortable and you shouldn't be the one standing out, right? But one thing I've learned in adulthood is that you should never dim your light for anybody. Why do I say this? I realized that the more I dimmed my light and the more I continue to dim my light to accommodate other people or for other people, is the more I lose a piece of myself. It's like the more you are trying to accommodate everybody else, a part of you is lost. A part of you goes out. A part of you is like non-existent. And it gets to a point where you forget who you really are. You find yourself in a space where you find yourself having a self-crisis, because you don't even know who you really are. Why? It's because you are too busy dimming your light, making yourself small in order to accommodate everybody else around you. I get it. There are instances where we'll do it out of convenience, but never do it too long enough to a point where you're no longer true to yourself. Because the longer you pretend to be someone else you're not, the longer you make yourself small, the longer you take away from who you truly are, trust me, you will lose yourself, you will lose the spark, and you won't have an identity for yourself. You won't have your own personality. And I have seen that light that you have, that personality that you have, that's what you need in order to get to the next level. That's going to help you become the person you want to be in life. That successful person, that speaker, and all the kind of stuff. That is the stuff that's going to help you. But the more you dim yourself, it's like that is taken away from you. And now you're out here working a regular job that you're not happy at. You feel like you're not yourself. You're wondering where your spark went. It's because you are too busy making yourself small and dimming your light to accommodate everybody else around you but yourself. Point number 3 is there is dignity in working. Okay? Regardless of how small a job it may seem, there is a lot of dignity in working. Trust me, there is nothing more tragic or sad in comparison to begging. There is nothing more demeaning than being in a space where you have to beg for every little thing. There is dignity in having a job, regardless of how small that job may be. Some people will look down on you and say, oh my God, she's working as a waitress. Oh my God, he's, working as maybe a person like a combo, a person who's cleaning out tables. Oh my God, he's the garbage man. Oh my God, she's cleaning out the streets or whatever. Oh my God, she's a small business owner. Trust me, there is so much dignity in doing that than having to depend on another person to give it to you, than having to wait for another person to provide for you. You will gain a lot of respect from people, even people who do not tell you. You'll be much more respected by those people in comparison to someone who's waiting for a handout. Even your own personal self-worth will be 10 times better than a person who has to beg from another person, or a person who has to depend on another person. And don't you just feel nice being able to buy yourself stuff, being able to get yourself whatever it is that you need? I personally feel good when I'm able to meet my own personal needs. I hate it when I'm in a space where I'm incapable of meeting my own needs, incapable of taking myself out, feeling unworthy, or feeling like I don't have much confidence, or feeling this sense of lack. There is nothing nice about being in a space where you feel like you lack a lot. So trust me, my darling, regardless of how small it is, start doing something. Don't be that person who feels too shy to go clean tables because, you're worried about the next person and what they're going to say about you. When life comes to push and shove, those people will not be there to help you. So you are the very best person who's going to help yourself. So start, however small it may be. I respect you if you needed that validation. I respect you, and I see you as a person who's worthy for what the world has to offer you. And I know that you will get there. All you need to do is start, and start today. Now, before we get to point number 4, I want you guys to subscribe right now. If you're still watching this video, I'm not really sure why you haven't subscribed. I'd love you to become a part of this channel. I'd love to have you as a regular here. And I would even appreciate it more if you press the like button, because that shows YouTube that you guys did my videos worthy, and it pushes them out to more people. Point number 4 is having a higher power or believing in God is going to keep you grounded. What do I mean by this? As we are going through this process of adulthood, we get to a point where we want to explore, we want to experiment, we want to figure ourselves out. And sometimes, because we're trying to do all that, we lose sight of who we truly are. We lose sight of the values that have been instilled in us, right? And because of that, what keeps you grounded is having a higher power, is having a higher faith, believing in something beyond yourself. For me, I'm a Christian girl. I personally believe in God. I believe in Jesus. So I have found that in most instances, because of my grounding, my walk with God, my faith, I find that there's certain things I will not do, certain activities I will not indulge in because of the walk that I have with God. I have found that to be something that is very grounding for me as an individual. And I have just realized that, oh my God, this has saved me from certain experiences. It has saved me from being in certain spaces. It has saved me from certain downfall. So being grounded is important in this life. And for you to have that self-grounding, it is very vital for you to believe in a higher power, for you to believe in God, for you to believe that you need to pay higher respect to something greater than you, to believe that there is a creator out there who expects you to be a reflection of him. Of course, I'm not saying we don't have moments where we waver, we stumble, and we fall. Every human is bound to error. We are not God. We are not divine, right? But we can actually do good. We can actually do better by having a walk with God, because we're going to be grounded individuals. So take this down. Do this for yourself. If you haven't found a higher source, you haven't found a higher grounding for yourself, get to know God for yourself today. Whoever you may consider God to be. If you want to try the God I walk with, try him. You will find him to be amazing. If you are Muslim or Jewish or whatever religion that you believe in and believe God to be different, it is okay. Because as long as you have that higher source that you believe in and have that higher level of grounding for yourself, you will be saved from a lot of things. Trust me. Point number 5 is don't rush yourself in whatsoever it is that you are doing, especially when the people next to you look like they're going faster or seem to be doing better. So be it a job, be it marriage, be it setting up a business, be it life in general, right? Don't put yourself in spaces where you feel like you need to compete with the very next person, because one thing I've understood, God's pace is the right pace. Your pace and the pace that you're at right now is okay for you. However, if you are doing nothing, then this is your sign that you need to get started at something. So getting started at something and doing something is different from not doing anything at all. But if you are doing something at the moment, the pace that you are at is the right pace. When the time comes for you to get to the next level, you will get to that level and you will feel it within yourself to say, okay, let me try this. Let me change. Let me switch up a little. But when you're in a space where you feel the need to compete with the next person, when you are in a space where you feel pressured based off of what society is telling you and what everybody else is telling you, you will be prone to error. You will be prone to dangerous mistakes. You'll be prone to doing things that you shouldn't be doing. Some of the people that we see today who have found themselves in very compromising situations or very compromised positions, it is because they were trying to go by everybody else's timeline, except the timeline that was right for them. So know that the right time will come for you. The right time will come for you to achieve certain dreams. The right time will come for you to be in certain spaces. The right time will come. This may not be it, but the time is definitely coming, sis. I don't want you to be out here worrying so much about where you're at now and where you need to be because Jade, Jack, or whoever is in that space. No, focus on what you're doing and focus on getting better at what you're doing or the next best thing for yourself. Don't be too much in a rush to get to everybody else, because if you rush too much, you will definitely crush. Okay? You will definitely crush. So point number 6 is do something that you actually love. I have learned that people who actually do the jobs that they love, handling businesses that they enjoy, are doing so well. They are doing so well. When you follow your passions, when you follow your dreams, your job will no longer feel like a task. Whatever you do to make an income will no longer feel like it's a lot of labor. It's going to feel like a space of ease. And because you're doing it with enjoyment, you're enjoying what you're doing, there's a lot of pleasure in that space. I have noticed that those people tend to attract a lot of wealth to them, tend to attract a lot of success to them. It's like when you're doing something you're passionate about, you know how best to navigate that space. And when you're doing something that you're passionate about, even when things don't seem to be going well, you know how best to handle that situation. You know how best to get yourself out of a funk, and you are well equipped to handle the next stage that is to come. So try exploring what it is that you are into and find a way to get into it. And if what you're doing is something that will not generate income right now, you can always do it side by side with maybe a regular day job as you are pushing your way to getting to doing what you enjoy doing the most. And I know you will get there. Now, point number 7 may be a little bit controversial. I did not have kids. So let me just put it out there. I did not have kids at all. So I'm coming from a perspective of a person who does not have kids, a person who's interacted with friends who have kids, and a person who has heard from other people who had children. So I have learned that before you rush into having kids, make sure you have lived your life. Make sure you have enjoyed life. Now, there's certain people who actually enjoy the idea of having children early, who believe, okay, I need to have kids before a certain period of time. If that is you and that is the space space you think you find most pleasure in, well and good. But if you're a person who's just in this space where you're like, okay, I need to get this off my bucket list, I need to check this off my list, make sure you have lived your life and you have enjoyed life before you have kids. Because when I listen to people who have kids, it's like once you have children, there's certain things that you can no longer do. Because remember, the children come before you. You are the person who is solely responsible for these kids, be it you and your partner or be it you by yourself. So because of that, you would have to be in a space where you're responsible. You will not be able to do certain things you normally would if you don't have children once you have children, because one, you'd have to be a good example. Two, you would have to show up for your kids. Three, maybe you would need to make certain choices in life that will not have you as the major priority, and maybe the kids would have to be a priority. And for some people, I've discovered some people will have kids and then start to resent the fact that they have kids. Like somebody pushed you to have kids. No, don't put it out on those children. Those children were not the ones who wanted to have themselves. You had them. So it is your sole responsibility. So before you have children, make sure you enjoy life and you have lived life to a point where you feel like, okay, now I'm ready to have kids because I've lived an aspect of my life, okay? So before we get to point number 8, if you haven't subscribed, I'm giving you a side eye. Subscribe. Please subscribe. Your subscription will be highly valued. Point number 8 is don't let shame keep you from being authentic to yourself. A lot of us have been in spaces where we have not been authentic or true to ourselves because of the shame that we feel. The shame that we feel we may experience when people get to find out either what we did in the past or what life gave us, or what lemons we're currently dealing with. And because of that, you feel this desire to be ashamed. You're actually in a space where you're so ashamed with where you currently are at that you are not authentic to yourself. And you are robbing yourself of true happiness and peace. Shame, trust me, will keep you in a space of lack of peace in comparison to talking it out. So I personally believe talk it out to people you trust. Share only that which you feel is valuable for you to share. Or talk to yourself if you feel like it is something that you would be judged about. Talk to a therapist if you must, because at least they are not supposed to disclose your personal business to the public, to the general public. But whatever you do, don't let shame hold you in a space where you become a prisoner to yourself, where you become a person who's not authentic to who you truly are. Point number 9 literally goes with one of the points I already gave to you guys, but it's about God's divine timing. Now, God has his divine timing for everything in this life. God's timing, again, is the best. But I'm going to give you guys a Bible verse because I previously touched on this. So I'm just going to give you guys a Bible verse for God's perfect timing, okay? So Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 says, "There is a time for everything, a season for every activity under the heavens." So meaning that whatever it is that you're currently going through, whatever space you're currently in, whatever phase you're currently in right now, know that there is a divine timing when that phase is going to pass, when you're going to have new experiences and new encounters and even better encounters. Right now it may seem like whatever space you're in is difficult and you feel like there's no way out. Know that a time is going to come when you're going to be out of that space and only better is going to come your way. Just trust and believe. Point number 10, which happens to be my last and final point that I personally learned, and I'm still learning because I still do this. I shouldn't even be out here lying to you guys, but I am in a space where I'm working on it. I'm trying to do better by me. This point is don't overshare. Don't overshare. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, sis. Don't overshare. It is important to keep certain things to yourself. It is important to keep certain truths to yourself. If you have any ideas that you're trying to like turn into, you know, a goal, or you have certain dreams that you're trying to embark on, certain business ventures or whatever, keep it to yourself, sis. Keep it to yourself. If you have certain aspirations in life, keep it to yourself, because there's so many people out there who are so unhappy with themselves, who will be so quick to snatch the light out of you. Like, they will snatch your light so quick. Like, they're trying to like snatch your frontal, snatch that light out of you so quick, because they're not happy with themselves and they can see that you're capable of achieving so much. So to dim that light that you have, they will do whatever it takes, talk down on you, discourage you, or because they don't believe they can do it, or they don't want you doing better than them, or they want to copy what you're doing and have whatever it is that you're having. You don't want any of that bad energy. I am learning, and I have learned. Just keep quiet. Don't share too much. Don't let people in too much into your personal space, into your personal business. Some things are best kept to yourself. That is all I had for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you guys. Until the next one, I love you guys to the moon and back. Bye!